Hello, I'm Christina, and I'm here with Martina, and we are your podcast hosts for Everyday Ordinary, Extraordinary Women. We are deep divers and avid students of life, and powerful facilitators for healing. In real life, I'm an intuitive healer who blends massage therapy with energy work to provide customized holistic services for my clients.
And I'm a life coach specializing in parent and women empowerment, and I'm also a sound healer. We both love to incorporate crystals, essential oils, angelic reiki, oracle decks, whichever tool you can imagine, right? And of course, intuitive guidance into our work.
We were inspired to create this podcast after pondering on this question. What would a world look like where we can be inspired by every person? Usually, we're very quick to compare and judge ourselves and others. And when we do that, everybody is losing. Depending on my point of view, I can either feel small because I come out lacking, or arrogant and dismissive because I feel superior. Those are the only two options, and neither of those options make us feel very good. So here's our thought. Someone's everyday normal is someone else's extraordinary. Judgment comes from our first impressions, so we invite you, the listener, to go beyond your first impressions and see the magic everywhere. There's inspiration at every corner in everyone if we're willing to look. And today we are so happy to welcome Andrea to the podcast. Andrea, go ahead and introduce yourself to our listeners.
Hi, thank you for having me. I am, a massage therapist, and I also do acupuncture. Um, I definitely connect with beyond, and I feel what the body is holding in their subconscious mind. So I work individually with people, um, and kind of free them from their body because our subconscious mind gets held in our body. So I help free that from their body. It's a mind body connection to help them live a limitless life.
I love that. Limitless life.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw that I'm limitless, I'm like, oh, that is beautiful. That is so incredibly powerful, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I also love that you have different modalities because there's never just one way to get there, right? It's
Right.
always a combination of whatever works for the individual rather than for like in a set way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I also do Reiki, cranial sacral therapy, sound bowls. So I kind of have all the tools, and it's like a buffet for me because everybody's different. And so I just sort of tune into what they need and then base the treatment on that. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yummy. I'm like, I want to come. I want to try. I want to try.
I'm sometimes I want to be a client. I'm like, I need this.
But you should know, Christina and I we're always inspired by people that come and we're like, oh, Chris, and after we hang up, we're like, wow, we need to try this. We need to go see her. We need to visit her. So let me ask you, if we really knew you, what would we know? If we really knew you.
Hmm. If you really knew me, what would you know? That my intentions are pure and I truly want people to be healthy and happy. Every single person. Hmm. Yeah.
That actually leads to that question we have usually towards the end. But if you had a magic wand and you could give people any quality, what would it be and why?
The quality to heal, because I feel like our world is the way that it is through people not really going within and kind of creating balance and harmony within themselves. So then they project it onto the world. So the ability to heal and not, and strength, give them strength to look at the things because it seems overwhelming at first. But once they kind of take it step by step and build the strength within and the courage, then they can handle more and move forward and heal their traumas, I guess. We all have trauma.
Do you think that there's a way that we can get to the point where there is no trauma? And I don't know, like it just popped in my mind, and it's like trauma is part of what happens and part of the interpretation of what we make it mean, right? So if we are so healed
Yes.
and so solid within ourselves, we can make it mean something different. And it wouldn't even become that big. And I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to shut down now.
No, please, no, don't. But I do believe that it's all perception, right? Because then you could look at someone, I don't know, let me try to think of an example. Like someone whose parent is overbearing, right? There may be another person who thinks their parents weren't loving enough, right? So it's all perception in a sense, too.
Sure, which is why you can have children that grow up in the same household and some are traumatized by it and some go and become really successful. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're not traumatized by things. It just means they learn to adapt and deal with it differently.
Like,
The
Yeah,
other,
but
yeah.
if the parents are so healed,
could they never?
the kids will get there's always going to be, because we need that for growth, right? We need the friction for growth, but the kids will receive that sense of health because the parents are modeling it. So there's going to be room for different interpretations and different, like taking things differently.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think if you can create a consistent um form of safety around your children, then of course they're going to grow up different than children that experience the world not as safe. But can you really do that is the question. I don't know the answer to that question.
Right.
All right,
Right.
let's not go down that rabbit hole right
No,
now.
but I would be curious to hear what Andrea says about it, right? Because it's like, yeah, if we get to that place of health, at the same time, yes, as I said, we need all that yucky stuff for growth, right? We need the friction to grow, right?
I mean, I do. Well, I mean, think about it in healthcare too. So if someone's healthy, we won't need, blood pressure medicine and cholesterol. Like when you think of a world that's healthy, right? You think physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. So ideally, I think that's what we strive for. Is it 100% possible? I think so. But if you look at the world now, it's going to take a lot of work. I mean, just given the state of being that the world is in, right? And if people have the mentality of like in yoga, do no harm. So if you go to that part, do no harm, then you can walk around in a world and be peaceful and joyful. And so I think we're not very close to that world yet, but it could be a goal. Anyway, that's what I think.
I think it would be a beautiful goal. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think we have to have more people tuning off their news channels and all of that stuff to achieve that. But it's absolutely a goal, and yeah, for sure. Let's switch gears.
Right.
Tell us a funny, silly, or embarrassing story about yourself.
Oh gosh. Funny, silly. Um, Funny, silly, or embarrassing. I don't think hmm. I don't think I have one. Funny,
That's
embarrassing.
okay. We'll move on.
Yeah.
How about what's your superpower?
My superpower is like I'm an empath, so I can feel what people are going through. So I know their emotion, and they may not even know it, or the trauma that they hold.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Mm.
I
It's like,
wish I could teleport.
oh,
That would be a superpower that I would love
right.
to teleport.
I want to just wiggle my nose like Tabitha did and just be like, doo-doo-doo-doo.
Yeah.
What would you do if you could teleport?
Um, I would go back to my grandparents' childhood and go to Armenia and Italy and really like see how they lived. That's what I would like.
Just to know or to heal something?
To know, but I think it goes hand in hand. I think I would understand them more. Sort of kind of what you said about your podcast, right? Learning from women. And I grew up where the generation before me never talked. You know what I mean? Like, so I would love to hear their perspective of their childhood and how they grew up and what they thought. Because I feel what they are feeling, but I would like for them to, I mean, they've since passed, but to have known that in conversation.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's probably so much there, right? Like I know my parents grew up during the war in Europe, right? And like in the Swiss Alps, where the border is right there, right? And with the border, my grandfather did border patrol, and like, yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah. And my grandmother was brought over when the Armenian genocide that happened. So yeah, it just would be interesting to hear their perspective, which I never got to. And I'm older now, so I'm more curious.
Yeah, yeah.
And what about your superpowers?
Ooh. I'm also an empath, so I think that, it's always funny when you put your hands on a client and they're like, "How did you know to go there?" And I always just tell them it's magic, right? But but I can feel it. There's days I can feel it in like just laying in bed in the morning. Like I'll feel a pain in my body and I know it's not my issue. I know I'm feeling it because someone else that day is going. And then you'll see a theme. They all walk in the door with like the same whatever it is, shoulder or whatever that was bothering me that day, or a heartache, right? Or like I'm getting ready for work and crystals just start yelling at me, and I'm like, who's calling? And then I have to roam around my house and figure out like, oh, is it you? Do you need to come to work today? And then I went up with all these crystals, or then essential oils are yelling at me, and I'm like, okay, and I just have to trust that they need to be with me for a reason. Some days they're for me, some days they're for clients, and usually by the end of the day, it's all made itself very clear why it all happened. But at the
Hmm.
beginning, it would be like, am I losing my mind? And now I just can roll with it. But yeah,
Right. Well, sometimes I forget that I have this ability. So then I'll feel something and I'm like, wait, what did I do? And then like the next day it's gone. So I always forget. My Reiki master taught me to remain childlike. And so
yes.
I do. And I never, well, never. I try not to take in the history, right? To just come in clear and clean. And so then I'm like, oh, Andrea, remember this next time. But then I forget and just kind of go in. And so,
Mm. Yeah, mine
You know?
is mine is well, of course, like I'm an empath too, but I think one of my biggest one is to bring understanding. And the moment I can understand, I don't have to fight against, and you can relax, right? So I create this really beautiful safe space that you can be in. um, we're just talking about that yesterday, so I have. And the other one is I help normalize things. So I help you to see that you're not alone, which will, because we have all these secrets about, oh, I'm so this or I'm so that, and I'm like, yeah, welcome to being human, right? And again, that will help people relax, really relax, and they can just be free to be themselves in a way,
Mm,
through that,
nice.
which is really cool. So yes. So we were talking about your grandparents and about wanting to figure out, like your ancestry and what made them who they are. The question is, what made you who you are today? Like, for example, what was your biggest lesson, or what took the most courage, or when did you stand up for something that mattered to you? What had you become who you are today?
Um, so I always say it was a snowball effect. When I was 3 years old, my dad was in a very serious accident, which left him, they said, paralyzed for the rest of his life. So at the age of 3, I went to all his PT sessions and I was alongside him in the swimming pool. And so I think that kind of chose where I wanted to go in life. And I said I wanted to help people because my dad was able to walk again, I guess, through all his rehab. And I remember massaging the outside of his ankle. And he always used to say, I feel better. I feel better. And knowing now what I know, he was tapping into my subconscious mind. When I placed my hands on him, he would feel better. Like, it's interesting how when you look back. And so when I got to college, my professor asked me what I wanted to do. And I said I wanted to help people in health. He pushed me to go to cardiac rehab, but I wanted to go on the preventative side. So I got into exercise science, health promotion, and so I did all the preventative stuff, and then it just snowballed. I became a massage therapist. One night, I had a dream to go to acupuncture school. So I like quit my job. I moved to California and I studied acupuncture for 4 years. Then I studied Reiki, became a Reiki master, and just sort of went down this rabbit hole of health and modalities, reflexology, cranial sacral therapy, yoga, and so I don't think there was one. Well, it was my dad's accident. I think that kind of led me here.
And your curiosity,
And my curiosity. Yes.
and
And
your
I,
willingness to listen. Those are superpowers too, by the way. Yeah.
yes. And my first book that I read when we were talking about books earlier was Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. And that, I mean, that changed my life emotionally, knowing what happens in the body. So, yeah, I'm still a student. I don't think I'll ever not be. Even my Reiki master says to me, like, when are you going to stop? I'm like, I can't. I can't, I won't, and I don't want to. Like, it's fascinating to me. The human body is fascinating. Studying fascia now and going deeper into that with emotions, and then having just different clients in meditation. Like, I just had a new client the other day, and he's been on Adderall for 7 years. And he's like, I want to get off the medicine. And I said, well, tell me your symptoms. And so he basically said he throws up, excuse me. he throws up and he has headaches and he's like migraines for days after the medicine. So he was on the massage table. So my way in is through massage, right? So he's on the table and he just kept twitching. And I was like, "Are you okay?" But I had no idea, right? He just was coming for a massage. He kept twitching and I was like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Oh, it's just my ADHD." And I was like, "Okay, well, what is that like for you?" And so he sort of talked about it. So then I switched it from the massage to a meditation and activating all of his senses. And it was like a light switch went off for him, right? And he was completely still, at peace, and he felt safe. He didn't move the next 20 minutes and then finished up the session. And I placed my hand on his right shoulder and I was like, "How are you?" And he said, "That was incredible. I've never felt that in my life." I said, "Okay." He is already planning to see his doctor because he wants to get off. I said, "Well," I said, "you can train your mind like you train your body and your muscles. I'm not telling you to get off the medicine. That's not my area at all. But if you keep doing this meditation," and then his dad texted me and said he was so dialed in, he hasn't been that way ever. So, and that's, to me, every client is new learning for me because it was like, oh, okay, because I've never dealt with that before. So I learned more. And then I just couldn't stop thinking about him. And I kind of went down the rabbit hole of, other things like his eyes, they were just like really dark underneath. And so his body's telling him like the medicine is kind of not the best for him, but he can have peace with meditation. So I don't know if I'm rambling, but
No, that's a really beautiful story. I mean, and so many signs, right? Like throwing up. That's a sign that your body is not happy with this anymore. It may have worked in the past, but it's not working.
that part.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And
so
how
he's,
beautiful that you could trust your intuition and be like, oh, massage is not what he needs right now. Meditation is. That is gold right there.
yes. So yeah. So it was beautiful. And that to me is what is so rewarding. When I
Yeah.
have those moments with my clients, it's why I love doing this. Like, I truly want everybody to be healthy and happy. Like, he's living one way, but there's this other way that is just, to me, more.
Harmonious.
You know
Thank
what?
you.
When you were talking, one of the things that came was we are so detached from our bodies, right? It's not the first time I say this here, but it's like we're so incredibly detached from our bodies, and there's probably a fear aspect with regards to having to take the medication because somebody told him, and if he doesn't take it, what are the consequences? Blah blah blah, right? Rather than coming back to ourselves and listening, right?
But
It's
Martina,
conversation. It's conversation we had in the beginning, right? It's the coming back to ourselves.
and that's what I mean talking about the trauma, everyone healing it. But the trauma was so extreme in the beginning that everyone is afraid to feel that again. So the time that it happened, it was overwhelming, right? At the time that the situation occurred. And they're so afraid to feel and be present that they get distracted or won't look at what's happening within. So if
Sure, because
everyone,
the physical sensations remind them of that, and now they won't go there. But when you can actually have them in a safe space and you can guide them through that, now they can be safe while they experience that, then you can change that whole trajectory for them.
yes, yep.
It's very similar. We had another guest on a couple of weeks ago. She does ice baths with breath work, and it's the same thing. It's about changing that fear response and then using the breath work to be safe when you would normally freak out and it's just beautiful. I love all the work that everyone's doing. It's so beautiful.
hmm We
Hmm.
are the like feet on the ground here on earth right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
Tell us about a time you took a chance for love. It doesn't have to be romantic love, but it can be.
Well, my chance, I would say, for acupuncture in my dream, that was a chance. Because I quit my job and I went to California not knowing anybody, like like literally no apartment, nothing, and was like, okay, well, if this came from here, it's going to work out. So that was probably like my biggest, greatest chance, and it worked out well. Mm-hmm.
So good.
Yeah.
It is following those inklings, right? Rather than sticking to our life plan or whatever we say, right? We were just talking yesterday with somebody about this again. It's like human plans and God laughs, right? It's like, okay, yeah, no, we're going that direction and trusting it. That's the other thing that I hear, that you really trusted it and followed it. It's beautiful.
Well, I did. And then also hearing both of my parents at the time, what are you doing? You're quitting your job. You have insurance, you have security. Like, so going against everyone saying, don't do it. Like, you really have to have enough within yourself to go against everyone. Like, you can't, like, your friends, your family, don't go, don't go, don't go. Like, that pulls at your heartstrings too. But then it's to be like, I'm going out here where I know nothing and nobody, right? So it takes a lot.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Um,
What do you do to recharge when you take care of all these people? What fills you up? What do you do to recharge?
My recharge is to go to the ocean by myself and sit there all day. And I'll even get a room like at the beach with the sliding doors open, sleep with the windows open, hear the ocean wave for like a good 24, 48 hours. That's when I can get away. But my daily routine is very extensive. I have a vibration board, I have a trampoline, I have red light therapy, I have an infrared sauna, I walk, I do yoga, I do Pilates. My self-care is on on point. I feel like I have to, or else I cannot give it the level that or hold space at the level that I hold space at. If I didn't.
We're very alike. I have a vibrating sound bed that I'm sitting right next to, and yes, if I had more space, I have a little apartment. If I had more space, I would definitely have an infrared sauna in here. And as soon as I have more space, that's the first thing I'm adding. But yeah, it's yeah.
Right?
Well, we have to practice what we preach, but it's all energy, right? And if we're giving to our clients all day, we need to be making sure we're recharging our batteries too. So yeah.
Well,
Yes.
it makes us grouchy if we give out of if we don't have anything to give, right? It's like I
Yes.
remember a long time ago, I have a tendency to just read the introduction to books. So that's about, and a friend of mine gave me this book that's called The Myths of Motherhood. And she talks about her child being really sick, really, really sick. And once the child was well, she noticed that she got really angry, right? And lots of resentment and anger. And that's because at that point she left. And sometimes we need to, right? As parents, as moms, sometimes it's so pressing right now that we need to take care of something. And but then we need to make sure that we recharge, because otherwise there's only resentment and anger that is left when we give on top of nothing there, right? Because we're so depleted. So absolutely, like taking care of yourself is, and again, it's like as you said before, right? Healing, same thing for self-care is mentally, emotionally, spiritually, right? Physically, like all of it, not just not just, physically, but all of it. So yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Absolutely. What makes you laugh, or what makes you really happy?
I love to be with my friends. And I actually, my niece makes me very happy. Um, and then I literally just said last night that I need to go to a comedy show by the end of the summer. I love comedy and I haven't been in years. So I was like, I need some good laughs.
Hmm. Do you ever go
Mhm.
on YouTube and watch comedy shows?
I don't, honestly, I spend all of my time really just going down the rabbit hole of learning, to be honest with you. And I call it YouTube University. I mean, I go for sound, like the different sound frequency sounds and meditations, but I haven't done any pleasure stuff, I guess. Well, work is pleasure to me, learning is pleasure. So, but no, to answer your question.
Okay. Okay. Just curious, because I was just thinking as you started talking about comedy shows, I'm like, yeah, I don't do it either, but I love Fluffy, right? Fluffy is what's his name? Iglesias, Fluffy Iglesias, and I think he's hilarious. And he has plenty of YouTube clips, right, where it's just like, and it's not
Okay.
political, it's not, it's just a lot of fun. So, but I
I'll
don't do
check
it
it
either,
out.
right? I don't do it either. So, but yeah, I totally
Maybe
get
this
it.
is our sign.
Yeah,
A good
maybe.
comedy show, I think, is a good idea because it's fun. My boyfriend and I have gone to a few. We haven't done it in a couple of years, but a good comedy show is still fun. So I would highly recommend doing that for sure.
Okay.
Who do you want to be when you grow up? So if you could be or do anything, if time and money weren't an
Oh.
option, what would you want to be doing?
Well, I think I'd still be doing what I'm doing.
Yep.
Um, how do, I would still be doing what I'm doing, but maybe in Bali and Hawaii, somewhere near an ocean. How about that? I would just be in more exotic places. Maybe a retreat, come to Greece or
Well, I keep saying I want to do the same thing, but have different like hubs around my favorite places, right? So I could have a spot in New York and a spot, yeah. So same kind of theory. So maybe we could do this together. We could have our little healing hubs around, and then we could rotate.
right, just a little bit more exotic, and then
Yeah,
so I guess people could come to me and then they could go and then travel. But yeah,
brilliant.
I don't see myself doing anything else. Like this is my gift.
Same. Yeah, brilliant.
Hmm.
And close to the ocean. I mean, you know,
Right?
it's really, that's the biggest reset. It ticks all the boxes for me. The ocean really does. So beautiful, beautiful.
Hmm.
So, what's your definition of success?
Being happy and healthy. Being happy and healthy. It's interesting right now. So overall, like I'm very healthy. I live what I practice and I'm 53. And so my perimenopause, menopause has kicked in and I'm doing all the things, castor oil, like I'm doing it all. But I wake up every morning and I'm like, oh, little tin can over here. But just get through it. But being healthy and happy is, again, myself and everybody. That's how we should live.
It's beautiful. And it's
Mm.
so different from the definition of success of society, right? Like the having
Oh,
more, like the having more,
absolutely.
being more. Yeah.
Mhm.
So last question. What do you want people to remember about you?
that I helped them. I helped them feel better. Yeah. Yeah, I was there for them and I held space. Because as you all know, like they do all the healing themselves. Like I'm just there. I don't do anything. So I guess I want them to remember me like, wow, I was able to make a shift for the positive, and she was there, judgment free. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And you know what that reminds me of is like to do that you have to do your own work, right? So you can expand as they expand, right? So you can hold the space, more and more space for them. It's beautiful. Really, really powerful. Wow. So tell people how they can find you, how best they can find you, where they can find you. I imagine it's all in person, or it's mostly in person.
Yeah, it's all in person. I do have an Instagram handle. It's align with AG3. And then my phone number, people can reach out. I'm in the Boston area. I do travel. So
But you have a space in the Boston area, right?
I travel to people's homes. Like I
You
don't have a
only
wellness.
Okay.
Yeah, I travel to you. I have a table and I bring everything.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. That's
Mm-hmm.
a lot to carry. I guess you have like a little minivan where you have the little boxes for all the tools that you need.
Yes. It was funny. Like at one point, I don't know if you've ever watched Friends, but Phoebe was a massage therapist and she had a truck. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I should get a luxury
Like a
truck.
taxi.
Right. And then just you pull up in front of someone's house and then they come out and yeah. So they do it in the comfort of your own home.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, great. Thank you. And all of that information, your cell phone number, all of that is going to be in the notes. Your Instagram handle is going to be in the notes.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having
My
me.
pleasure.
It was great to meet you guys and learn more about what you guys do. So
Yeah.
if I'm ever out in your way, I will reach out for
Yes,
sure.
please let us know. Please let us know.
And
So,
vice versa. If we're in Boston, we will reach out too.
yes, absolutely. I'm like, yeah, wow, that would be so cool. Like, I love that. I love that immersion thing, right? It's like, it's not, again, it's not just one tool, right? It's like you pull all that needs to be pulled and deal with
Mhm.
whatever is in front of you in the best way you can with all the tools you've got. So, thank you for
Yeah,
showcasing that for us today. Also, if you
thank
want to,
you.
thank you for all of you out there for being here, for listening. If you want to find out more about us, you can also check out our Linktree profiles in the notes. And if you love this, please leave us a review. Please share. And please always remember that you are extraordinary. You rock. Until next time. Bye for now.
Have a
Bye
great day,
bye.
everybody.